Welcome to the card
Okay,
barber.
take two. Okay, welcome to the cast assessment for House of Cards. We're two boots in, but we're finally getting this done. We have Madison and Nick and Tawny and Josh R with us. Let's just jump into it. Who are we starting with first?
We're starting with Brandon.
Brandon. Okay, someone start.
I guess I'll start. I think Brandon's kind of in a weird position. I think he's in a better position than I thought he was gonna be in going into the game. I saw the cast and I was kind of like, oh, Brandon's kind of fucked. But looking at where we're at right now, I think Brandon's kind of put himself in kind of a middle of the pack position where he's not going to be one of the first ones to go, but I don't think he'd be one of the last ones to go. And for Nancy,
I thought he was gonna be like for sure, like first or second boot of this tribe, and I think had they lost again, he wouldn't have gone home, but like his name would have been thrown out. But now that he's gonna be able to make a swap.
Potentially. As long as nothing crazy happens.
Yeah. His position will be really interesting, and maybe, but he's done well so far, honestly. So
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just based on the little bit that I've seen, because I'm really not paying attention so far, is like the only thing that could tank Brandon's game at this point is Brandon, but that's also what Brandon tends to do, is blow up his own game very quickly. And I think usually all it takes is a little bit of drama. So I think if he can keep that to a minimum, and just kind of stay under the radar and stay in the middle of the pack position, he'll be fine. And I'd like to see him do well in a game finally. But I think sometimes he's too much of a crackhead for his own good, but I love him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think from what I know of him, he's like not a bad player, but I think he sometimes shoots himself in the foot. So I think my sort of instinct of like when he, seeing him on the cast was, I think he can make it like midway, but I feel like he's somebody who could potentially fall short, mid swap, or even like right at the beginning of the merge. Just if things start getting chaotic, I feel like that's something that could come back to haunt him.
Which Brandon is this?
Yoshi Coleman.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that one. I'm helpful right now. Like, I've never really talked to them that much, so I have literally no idea anything. Nothing. Nada.
You're good. Okay. Next up is Kennedy.
I feel like as long as Kennedy makes the swap, she'll be fine. I think that Kennedy's kind of in a weird position. I don't understand why she keeps wanting to protect Nathan. When if you read the vibe of the tribe, it's very obvious Nathan's kind of an outsider on that tribe. I don't really think that he is going to be like first or second to go, especially after this round. But I don't at the same time think that he's somebody that this tribe wants to keep in long term. If that changes on the other tribe, I don't know, but I do think this was probably the best tribe he could get. So with the swap happening, I don't really know how much better it can get for him. And I feel like Kennedy needs to start kind of branching out to different people.
I think she's done like pretty damn well in terms of positioning herself on this tribe and like being liked. But like, I think when like the merge, I think she's gonna make the merge for sure. But I think she's gonna have to manage her threat level, and I think like she'll be an easy target in a way. But she's gotta get the right people, and I have faith. So
I mean, for me, I'm fairly new to a lot of people. And so I don't know Kennedy super well, but she's somebody who like has all of a sudden shown up in a lot of things recently. at least from my experience. And so I feel like if you're in a lot of things at the same time, that can sometimes hurt your games. And so I wonder if her being in a bunch of different things is good, especially with a few of the same people, can definitely really do some damage. So I think right now they seem to be okay, but like I think again, I think sort of a definitely a merge boot for sure. If people start to realize how good of a player she is, because she seems to be fairly competent all around, at least from my experience. So I think you sort of that mid-tier merge, you know, people are getting antsy and want to make a move. I think Kennedy could be somebody that a move could be made against. But I mean, my experience with Kennedy is very limited. So
It's that when you share games with people sometimes, like you might be in two games at the same time, like it's like nice in the beginning, but then it gets to the point where it's like when one domino falls and like you get voted
Yeah.
out on one, now it's like okay, free reign to get them out in another. But
Mhm.
especially if you're not working together in a game already and you come into another game not working together, like sure that connection is going to bond you for a little bit, but if you're not necessarily allied with somebody in that first game, you know, they're not going to necessarily want to keep you around in that other game as well. So I think it's definitely Kennedy's got to watch out, I think.
I'm enjoying watching because like I'm seeing her in both of like I think her primary focus. Is she playing anything else other than Disney in this right now? I don't know. But either way, I mean yeah, both of these are going to take a lot of time and a lot of like energy, but just because of like the circumstance. But I'm definitely enjoying watching her play Big Brother, and she's definitely playing Disney very hard. She's definitely very invested, and I definitely see her doing a lot of those same things here. But I definitely agree. Some of the overlapping relationships might become difficult to manage, just especially seeing the little bit that I have over the course of both games. I think it might be a little difficult to manage down the road. But I also think Kennedy is just so nice and so likable, and she's really doing a good job of creating. She does a really good job, in my experience, of creating a game relationship and a personal relationship, and she can continue that personal relationship on. And I see her doing that with the people, with the overlapping people. I see her doing that in those conversations and being like, oh, you know, like I love you because of this, like this whole like personal relationship that's completely separate. And I feel like that will help her carry that over. So I'm hoping for the best. I stan Kennedy. She's such a queen.
Yeah, I feel like Kennedy, like I kind of think that she is going to be very similar to Rachel in the sense that she's really good at comps. She's very sociable, and it's like people like her, but it's like what I'm kind of concerned about is I remember having a conversation with her once, and she was like, yeah, like in my intro videos, I like to come off as kind of like this ditzy little child, that I'm like just really stupid, and then whenever I'm in the game, like I hit them with what I actually have. If anyone ever has like watched, like if they watched her in like 1984, like they'll know automatically that she is good at these. Like she's really good, especially for someone her age. So it's like I'm kind of curious to see if she's going to be able to balance knowing that there's some people in here that are already aware that she's a threat.
I want to see her play with like that conviction, you know, and like seal a deal. I think she could, but we'll see.
And I think like that strategy that Tawny mentioned only works a couple of times before people figure you out. And so is this going to be the game where people, especially because she's playing with a few other people that she's playing with in another game that's a little bit further along. So are people all of a sudden going to see, hey, maybe she's not so innocent. Maybe she's not so, you know, carryable, and make the move.
I also want to say that Kennedy said something tonight that was kind of like eye-opening to me, where Kennedy does this thing that I've seen a couple of org players do where they're very nice to the person that they're playing another game with. But like the second Tim was gone in Disney the first time, like when he got voted out before he came back, she was very on the get Tim out of this game train. And now that he's back in Disney, she's been very hesitant on voting him out of Systematic. And I feel like a lot of people do this. I feel like most of us have definitely been someone who does this, where they're like, I can't piss this person off in this game because I'm playing this game with them. And she's been very similar like that with Michael too, because I think she feels that Michael's in a good position in Disney. So she's like, I can't do anything to piss him off in this game, or like there will be repercussions in Disney, and like the other way around. So I definitely feel like her playing with other people could potentially benefit her, but it could also really harm her.
Just saying reasons I only play one game at a time.
It's better that way
It is. It's way better that way.
and more enjoyable too. Okay, let's move on to.
Sorry.
Did I do something?
It was just the immediate, okay.
Let's move on to Kevin. I'll start, I guess. Kevin has surprised me in ways that like I know how that he's a really good player, but I didn't expect him to be this like good socially amongst the tribe. Like he's coming off as like personable, and a lot of people like really trust him, and he's like a total dick in his project, which is the funniest part.
See, I 100% disagree with that, because I've seen Kevin play, and like I've seen firsthand Kevin play. I've seen him play other orgs that I've played. And when Kevin really puts his all into an org, like he is nasty in the best way. He is so hard to beat. That's why I was so scared of him, and I was ready for him to go in 1984 All-Stars, because I was like, no, this is All-Stars. Kevin's gonna put his all in this game, and if he gains any traction, like the rest of us are just left in his dust. Because Kevin is one of the most incredible, like, it's the way I describe orgs is it's a lot easier for a woman to get to the end, but it's a lot easier for a man to win because of sexism. But I say that because I feel like in this community, what women are more approachable than some of the guys in this community, especially straight men in this community. I feel like people gravitate towards that friendly gay guy, people gravitate towards that friendly girl, but people don't really gravitate towards that straight, I hate saying this, don't write an 8-page document on me, but that straight white guy. I do feel like Kevin has this aura about him that like he knows exactly what to say to people to make them feel comfortable with him. And even if he absolutely fucking hates your guts, he will make sure you feel comfortable with him to keep him in the game. And he's done exactly that in this game. And it is terrifying to watch as a player. And it's even more terrifying to watch as a production member, because like you said, Kevin will literally have a great conversation with somebody, then go to his prod chat and be like, this fucking idiot, I can't stand them. But sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
No. I mean, that's basically what it's saying. Like I know he's a great player, and like I've played with him in group games, but he's doing well. I think he can keep it up. Like, and I think he's like he's like he's like one of the contenders to win this whole thing, I think.
100%. Which, like, going into this game, I did not like, because the way Kevin acted going into the game, I wasn't expecting a lot from him. But anybody who knows Kevin knows that, like, when he wants something, he's gonna go for it. Even if, like, at first he doesn't want it, the second he starts wanting it, like, it's over for the rest of the cast.
I thought he was gonna troll and just be like a dictator, like, you know, and be a big ego, whatever. But he's playing. So
No,
okay.
you're like, I mean, that's like Kevin's like two things. He's either coming in being cocky as shit, being a complete dick face, and just going straight up for the villain role. But it's like that still works for him. He still goes far that way. Or he's doing, I guess, what he's doing now, which is playing Mr. Nice Guy and becoming BFFs with everyone. And he plays that role really well. Like,
Okay,
I
we're
mean,
2 rounds in.
yeah, I mean,
And
I've
if-
fallen for it firsthand. And it's like, you're exactly right. He'll sit there and, be this, whatever, go to the prod chat, talk shit. Which is, my whole deal with him. But it's like, yeah, he is a good player. And if he continues playing the way that he's playing right now, the way he played Trinity, he will 1000% win this game, regardless of who he's playing against.
And the best thing about Kevin is he plays orgs so far apart that nobody ever really clocks that. Like, he's not somebody like us or like me or Josh, join us, or I butchered your last name, or no, basically me and Josh. He's not like me and Josh who sit there and play org after org after org after org after org. He plays an org, waits a month or two, plays another org, waits about 3 months, plays another org, says he's retiring, does Josh a favor and plays this last org. Like, it's not like he's playing org after org after org. It's to the point where it's like, damn, like, who's this new player at that point? Or like, I know of Kevin, but I don't know of Kevin playing orgs. Like, he may have won Deception Island, but he hasn't played in this amount of time. Also, if Kevin keeps playing the way he does, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any prod member says. Kevin will be getting Villain of the Season just because of his prod chat.
Yeah, I think.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I like Kevin on a personal level. Like, we've had some, like, I've encountered him. I don't think in an org, but definitely in like a group game or two. But like in the personal, yes, in the personal interactions we've had, like, I really enjoy him as a person. And so he was somebody I was definitely looking forward to watching play this season. And I think for me, he's really high up on my list of people that I think are gonna go really far in this game. And so, like, I was really high on Kevin coming into this season. I think that, obviously based on what everyone else is saying, he's got a really good shot to take the whole thing out. So I don't know. I just was definitely, like, even just on first impressions of not really knowing what's going on behind the scenes and in the game, definitely think that he's somebody that people will have to watch out for sure.
I don't really know Kevin, so I can't say too much. But now I'm really excited to watch him play, and I'm really excited to start paying more attention to this game so that I know what's going on.
The one thing we connected about he was in LKB All Stars, right? Was that he has a corgi, and corgis are my favorite dogs of all time, and so we bonded. We bonded
Winston
over
is
that.
honestly the best and only good part of Kevin.
See, that's what he does, though. He'll find
Does
the
he
one
have a corgi
thing.
named Winston?
I didn't know his
Yes.
name Winston. That makes me love it even
I
more.
literally want a corgi so bad, and I was just
Me
talking
too.
about if I got a corgi, I would name it Winston today. Oh, I already love Kevin.
He's a little dapper man. Like, honestly, Winston should be the winner of this game. Like, just bring him in.
But like, that's the thing. Like, he'll, like, just like Josh just said, like, he'll find the one thing that you love about him and like go through that crack, split it open, and try and like connect with you game wise. It's incredible.
Okay.
We need a better segue. I'm just saying.
Next is Michael S. from Up.
I mean, I feel like he's like, I don't know. I just know because he was in Trinity and the VL seemed to really love him in Trinity. I feel like he's a person that you like to watch, but you also, like, I don't know. I feel like he falls into that category of you either like want to root for him or you want to root against him. And I could be like reading the room wrong, but I just feel like he sort of gives me that vibe of he's going to be somebody who goes fairly deep into a game. He's going to be able to, make it make connections, go, have sort of a read on the tribe. But I feel like if he gets on to the wrong tribe with the wrong people, I feel like I don't know. I just am getting this sense that he's going to get swap screwed. And I feel like he's going to get swapped into a tribe of people who sort of aren't really buying what he's selling. And they're just going to just kick him right out the door really fast. Again, I think like I said, with Kennedy, this is what, like his third org in the last like month or something like that. Like he's been in a lot of orgs in a very short period of time. And like Nick said with Kevin, is I think like for me, I don't like playing a lot of orgs close together because then people figure you out. And I think with Michael, as people are gonna figure him out because he's already been out there a lot recently. And I think that it's gonna get him in trouble. And I think it's gonna get him in trouble fairly soon.
I've barely interacted with him, but like I don't know. People are like he seems to be like extremely polarizing. Like a lot of people either love him or like are not really vibe with him. But he genuinely seems like a really nice guy, and I think he's like a really solid player. And I have like I'm feeling him doing really well in this game. But I have a feeling he's gonna get targeted in a swap, like you said. I think
Because he's done well. He did well in Trinity. He's doing well in BB Disney. People are seeing that. People know that, and so I think they're going to see that he generally does well and try to take a shot at him sooner rather.
I think that people on the other tribe would go for him. But I think he's established himself really well on this tribe because he's a really social player. Like he gets to know you. He asks questions and all that. But I feel like if you hit a swap and it's like dynamics, the other tribe would come after him. But he's known for being a really loyal player, I think. So
I think the issue Michael's running into is he's doing something unintentionally that I do intentionally in the first half of games, which is like be good with everyone, but don't be anybody's number one. And like I feel like he's like to everyone, they're all like, I'm good with Michael. Like Michael is somebody that I trust, but like nobody really has Michael at their number one right now. Nobody really is going to tell Michael any and everything. And one thing that I think this tribe as a whole is doing that is preventing them from getting advantages, like just in general, is none of them are talking to each other about like what specifically they have. Like the Hearts tribe doesn't have like a board of like they went about this twist very differently. The Clubs tribe has a board of like, here's all the numbers we guessed. We're not telling you what cards they are, but just don't click on these numbers. Where the Heart tribe is like, we don't have a board, but we're sharing every single card that we have. And I feel like that's really preventing them from getting cards. Like if you don't know who has what card, even the people you trust, how are you supposed to win these advantages with this type of idol system?
I was unsure if the idol system would completely flop and like no one would ever find this thing the entire game, which I was worried about. But what I do like is that it has influenced like relationships because people are naturally like, hey, what cards do you have? And it's like, if you have good ones, are you going to share or you're not going to share, you know?
It also like kind of forces bonds. Like we saw with people that we'll talk about later, we saw them like, it was like a web of people trying to get these cards to this one person so they could get an advantage in this game. And it's just crazy to me. Like I've never seen a game really played.
Michael S.
How many people have we gone through?
We've gone through Brandon, Kennedy, and Kevin. If you have any quick thoughts on them.
Yeah, I'll say it. So Brain. Okay, I miss Kennedy and Kevin. Fuck me. I'll say quickly for Brandon, someone who actively goes out early all the time. I'd like to see that change because when Brandon can do well, he actually does really get good. He is not bad in any field, so he just needs to get through the early stage and not be too messy, and he should be able to do fine. Kevin.
Pause. You literally just worded. It's funny because you literally just like worded, but like in a different way, every single thing that Madison said.
Well, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. For Kevin, he goes either way. Luckily he's not on his one end of the spectrum, first boot, so he's doing good there. he's surprisingly good socially for how he normally is, and his strategic mind is one of the best I've ever seen. He doesn't play a lot, but when he does, oh my god, it is an absolute beauty to watch. I'm hoping that he can make it far in this game. I think with the way these tribes have laid out, he's actually in a really good spot too. So fucking props to him. I see him going really deep, especially with how this game's played out so far. And then for Kennedy, what can I say here? Okay, just
Reminder
making sure.
that this doesn't get released till after the season is over.
And there's no one playing Disney, right?
No.
Okay,
No,
so
sir.
so I actually have a I've witnessed a lot of Kennedy's game, but from being closely allied with her in Disney, which surprise motherfuckers. And oh my god, she's a sleeper is I think a lot of people are not going to understand just how smart and innovative she is with every little thing she does. It is like next level gameplay with what she does, like 1984 the fucking keyboard smash. Like, she does things that look innocent but have meaning behind it. And
Josh just shivered.
and she is someone that I could see winning this whole damn thing if people let her. If people don't catch on to it, it will be an easy walk. But I think with the way this game goes, especially that you need to have a lot of conversation to get powers, I do think that that could be a misstep for her. She might say a little too much, and people might start to realize that.
To add on really quick, I do think Kennedy benefits from not that many people knowing Kennedy's orc history in this cast, especially the people on her tribe.
Oh, being a new player helps.
I feel like if Seb was on her tribe, she'd be in a lot different of a scenario, because Seb knows her more than probably 90% of this community.
And I have no idea if that's good or bad.
Exactly.
I don't know what Seb would do.
All I hope is that she doesn't let Nathan pull her down.
That's my biggest thing, is she's so connected with Nathan right now that it's like scaring me.
I mean, she has told me individually that Nathan's her closest ally, so we will see how that one goes.
Why does she always align with crackheads?
I actually will leave my comments for Nathan. Where are we?
Kevin.
We were
You
on.
also missed Kevin.
No, I said Kevin.
He did, Kevin.
Oh, did you do Kevin? Apparently, I was.
I'm sorry for making this longer than it had to be. I do apologize, all of you. I was just doing the first night of a sentence, and I made
must
it
have
out.
mixed, because I thought you were talking about Brandon, and then you talked about Kennedy, but I missed Kevin in there somewhere.
We did miss it.
Kevin was before Kennedy.
Wait,
Yeah.
which Michael?
I think Brandon and Kevin just mixed together in my listening.
Wait,
Michael
come again?
S.
From Up.
Schwartz. Okay. He might say that he's an old man who gets underestimated, but no, there's a lot of strong players in this game, and it is just absolutely fantastic to see. I love when you have that, because it's going to be a high level gameplay. People are going to be here to play and here to play hard.
He is a force.
He 100% is. But something that I do know is that this man likes to have control. He very much wants people to follow him, and if that gets caught on, that is going to be a very dangerous game that he'll be playing. Once again, I feel like a lot of this will revolve around this idol system. It is such an interesting system to try and traverse, because especially since you absolutely have to work together in order to get things, and the more people you add on, the more dangerous it can be.
So to add on that, so it's pretty much gotten around that he has 3 of the aces. Or 3, and he's missing an ace, and no one wants him to really get the last card. But
I think something Keaton touched on is interesting of Michael wanting to be in control. I don't know everybody on this cast, but I don't see a lot of followers on this cast. Like, I see a lot of very strong independent game players, and I feel like what I said earlier is that if a swap is coming. I think if Michael doesn't get the swap going in his favor, then I feel like, first or second swap boot is in his future.
I see that.
Tony, you have anything on it?
I don't. Yet again, I told you I would be next to useless here.
And Madison, you know.
Yeah, so I can't go too in depth about like both now that
I
Keaton,
wonder
Now that
why.
Keaton's here.
now that Keaton has arrived, the rat. Okay, so again, watching Michael play 2 games right now. I can't say much about one, but I'm definitely excited to see him play here. I'm excited to watch him play a Survivor game as opposed to a Big Brother game. I didn't particularly pay attention to Trinity when he played, or specifically his game much in Trinity at least. So like, I'm definitely excited to watch him. I think he's damn. Well, I can't say that because Keaton's here. I'm just gonna shut up about Michael because I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say. But I love him and I'm excited to watch him play this.
I have one thing to say about Michael in both games. Hope he goes soon because the motherfucker targeted me. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Before we move on to the next person, I want to go bottom to top for the next tribe.
Okay. Okay, next up is Nathan.
Okay, I did not expect Nathan to be doing as well as he's doing right now. I think a lot of the connections are somewhat fake, especially like on the Coven side of things. But he's surviving. He's not the next boot to go if that tribe loses immunity, which is shocking. But I do think if he swaps, he's going to be fucked regardless of who on the other tribe comes on, because I don't think any of them like him.
I think that this tribe has been like, I don't think I think he thinks he's in a really amazing spot, but I think he's just above the people who would go home next. So I think when the swap comes, I think he's in danger mode unless he's paired up with people who really don't like each other. And I don't think there's any chance that he gets an advantage in this game. Like, I don't see people giving him guards.
I don't either.
I see one person.
Unless it's Kennedy.
Yep, I see. Yep. I will honestly say, I'm impressed with Nathan so far. He's doing better than he normally does, which means he's not the target.
I haven't seen Nathan make a swap in a Survivor game, and like I haven't watched like I know he has, and I know he's gotten far in Survivor games, but I have not like actively watched a game where he's made a swap. And so like if and when he if he makes the swap, I'll be very impressed, especially with this cast.
I feel like he's holding his own too. Like as it said, he's just above the people who are blatant targets based on what they're doing so far.
Well,
But I also think that has to do with the fact that he's in the hospital right now, and the only thing he can do is talk to people.
I mean, that is an advantage. It is also a horrible situation to be in for him. So I do feel that for him. He is finding a way to get through that in this game, being that I'm genuinely happy for that much.
I'm impressed with that, and I'm impressed with like since he has a lot of downtime. I don't think he's overplaying. Like I think he's maybe a little bit, but not to the point where it's like detrimental.
He's done worse than overplaying.
Yes.
Like, he has like I actually don't think he's overplaying at all too. Like despite the fact that this is all he's got, I think he's understanding it and he has more time to think about what he does.
I will say Josh is nasty. If Nathan's still here, after the swap, Josh is nasty for one of these comps. Oh my god, I just realized if he made swap is when?
The next round.
Next round. If Nathan makes it past the first tribal of the swap, Josh is fucking nasty because Nathan's in a hospital bed right now.
What?
Wait, what is the comp?
It's the cup on the wall endurance.
Really hoping that tribe wins then.
It's a double tribal.
Why is that bad?
Oh, that's a double tribal? Well, fuck.
He's in the hospital.
I didn't know that was a double tribal. I haven't looked at the dog. What the fuck?
I will say, no, I guess that won't be, because if Nathan's tribe doesn't go to tribal that first round, then they have to sit somebody out. So Nathan would be the obvious choice to sit out there.
Yeah.
So let's just hope.
I'll jump in quick if nobody else has anything. I've only played, I think, one org with Nathan, and we never got to meet because he was voted out like second, I think. But I just know he has a bit of a reputation for being crazy, but I guess you guys have all been saying like if he's seems to be hiding that and playing that down a lot, especially given his real life circumstances. So I don't know. I always tend to root for people that I recognize and that I know. So I think for me, Nathan's not like the highest on my root for list, but he's definitely not like he's like middle of the road, I think, for me. So I think if he obviously keeps doing what he's been doing with, obviously you can recover from slightly overplaying. So I think the trajectory that he is on right now, I feel fairly solid about his chances. I don't know. I don't have much to contribute to this conversation right now.
Oni, this is one of the people that you do know. Do you have anything to say?
Yes.
I think a little bit, like, because I think I did play a game with Nathan, right? Didn't we? Wasn't he in Trinity?
Yeah, we voted him out at 17.
Yeah, I just never got to actually like play with him. But just from knowing him personally, I get a lot of what y'all are saying in the sense of like, am I really echoey right now? I feel
No.
like I'm echoey.
No, you're good.
No,
You're good.
Okay, my sister's house is still kind of empty. So with Kennedy like being like his only one at the moment, like I feel like it's not going to go well for him, but I do think that if he is underplaying right now compared to I guess like how he normally is, I can actually see that making a merge, especially if people are like really targeting others as much as what y'all say they are. Am I making sense right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Tony brings up a good point. Like he is close with Kennedy, and I think we sort of touched on like Kennedy is in a lot more games right now than Nathan is. So I feel like if people are looking at that duo, then
But I don't think
like I
people
feel like
know that
Kennedy
they're
gets targeted
duos.
over Nathan, but I don't know. Like that's just sort of I feel like if people can figure that out.
I say because of Nathan's previous history with other people in this game, Nathan's going to get targeted way before Kennedy ever will.
Fair enough.
Especially because I didn't realize that the swap was this after this round. Especially because like they're swapping. And like I said previously, I don't think anybody on the other tribe really either doesn't really know Nathan or doesn't care for Nathan. So there's no positives coming his way from the other tribe.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, if they don't have an opinion, that could be at least that's places for him to make positives. So I don't think he's down and out.
No, I don't think
That's
so. But
true.
I think out of all the people we've talked for, I think like talked about, and I think Nathan sort of has the most wiggle room, I think, in terms of sort of doing better than we think that he could potentially do. So I think he's got a lot of room to sort of maneuver from what it seems like so far. So if he can just figure that out and take advantage of that, I would like to see him make the merge. Like I would really like to see him make the merge for sure. Okay.
Pete.
I'm going
Oh,
for it.
Pete.
Another person that I think is going to be dragged down by Nathan.
That's it. I'm going first. I don't care. Pete, I fucking love this man. I love this man, but he's god awful at these games. He consistently gets out. Half the time it's not necessarily anything he does. It's the fact that he does nothing. Be active, motherfucker. That's all I ask of you. I think he's kind of doing that right now.
No, he's been very active in this game. I do think this is the game Pete finally makes merge.
Oh,
I
don't
hope
fuck.
so.
No, Nick, you don't. We don't say these
Knock
words.
on wood. Knock
I'm
on
gonna
wood.
say
I
it,
do
'cause
think this is the game.
I felt so bad voting him out in Prestige because like I know how much he wanted to just make the merge and he was like fairly close. And obviously the fact that I was a very, very major contributor into him going home in that game. I enjoyed the conversations I had with Pete. I think Pete has a lot of potential. He just doesn't realize it quite yet. I think that I would really like to see Pete at least make the merge. And I feel like Pete is somebody that if they can get to the merge, could be a sleeper who could potentially just sort of fade into the background and have lots of room at their disposal to do a lot of things. Whether they actually do those things or not, I don't know. But I think potentially the room is there and the avenue is there for Pete to do something good with the space that he will be given in the merge.
I will say in 90% of the Survivor games Pete plays, if merge is at 13, he goes 14. If merge is at 11, he goes 12. So I'm going to knock on wood that somebody doesn't think Pete's this big mastermind at 12 or whenever, like anywhere in between merge and the swap. And I hope that he does well. Will he? I hope.
I think especially with the big, like there seems to be a lot of bigger game players in this season. And I think if Pete can sort of realize that there are big targets ahead of him in line, like use the shields, use the targets, hide behind a few people, you know, point out maybe some bigger targets in the game, use the things and the environment and the tools around you to progress your game. I mean, I know Pete was, and from my experience, was not the most active player, but if Pete can become active, I think that he can do really well. I think there's a lot of potential, and I really hope that he uses it because I genuinely would like to see Pete do better than the last experience that I had with Pete.
He said this is his game, but apparently he said the same thing for system or Prestige. But I have faith that he's gonna go to the merge in this one.
I hope so.
I'll-
And I think if he
I'll-
makes merge, he'll go far.
I'll cash up everyone here $5 if he doesn't make the merge.
Oh, we got it on recording.
Now I've got to download Cash App.
I'm
Don't add
gonna hold you to that.
I will hold you to that if he does not make merge.
Same.
And if he does make the merge, then y'all cash out me $5.
No, that
No,
wasn't
no,
the rule.
shut the fuck up. One of us makes a good income and it's you.
All right.
All right.
I guess the question is, Duolingo, is there a cash prize for this season?
No, because you know what? I put a cash prize in season 1 and people didn't seem to realize there was a cash prize. So
No, they did. They just decided to split it 3 ways. Josh shivers.
No comment.
You know, if you
um,
donate the potential prize money from this season, I know a wonderful charity named the Madison Kimmery Foundation.
so basically I'm donating to Chick-fil-A.
And Disney. And trips
And
to
to
Disney.
Tony's trip to Universal.
I was gonna say it's to a lot of people's Disney trips, but to Cookout right now because I'm getting food. Anyway, continue.
We're getting closer and closer to the person that I want to talk about.
Next up is Sam.
Oh, Sam. I'll go first in Sam. Sam is doing exactly what Sam does in games. Every single time I've seen Sam play, it's literally the exact same thing. And you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it, because I've never seen Sam place anything less than like 5th. I think 3rd. I've never seen him place anything less than 3rd with this type of gameplay, and it's be good with everyone until you hit merge, and then start playing your ass off at merge and use those connections that you've made. Like, don't target anybody, don't really do much, go after the easy beats until merge, and then target any and everyone you can at merge. And Keaton has been a victim to that. I
Twice.
have been a victim to that. Sam is an incredible player, and if he doesn't make merge, I will be shocked. I will actively be like, I will be in shock if Sam does not make merge.
Well,
He is one of the best players I've ever seen play orgs.
he's one of the best Big Brother players I've ever seen. I don't know where the fuck he's gonna do here. This is a different game.
That is true.
I don't actually know if he's played a Survivor game before this, which is something that I'm very intrigued about. I think he's played other styles of games, but I don't think he's ever played Survivor itself before. Knowing that he is extremely good sociably. I've seen that time and time again. People just naturally trust him, naturally bring him in the groups, and he doesn't even give a lot. He just talks.
He's just that type of person.
He's just a charismatic individual, and that's genuinely who he is. But he does play it up in games, and it helps him tremendously. He's gone far twice in Big Brother because of it, and I think that he's doing all right here too. It doesn't seem anyone's really talking about him. I think he's trying to float. I think he's not trying to change anything from his strategy. He is trying to float too deep into the game and to where he can start making moves. And in Survivor, that still works really well. So I think that is something that he can work at. And then once it gets the merge, he can start trying to make little deals and try and get himself out of whatever situation he will inevitably be put into.
It's a strategy that he perfected in Big Brother that like I didn't realize works incredibly well in Survivor. And he's playing probably one of the best under the radar games so far.
I think
'Cause
you're
he's
right,
not-
Keaton. Sorry, I think you're right about if it's not his first Survivor game, it's one of them, because in my 1984 exit interview, we got talking about Survivor and he sort of let it slip that he was going to be on this season, and he seemed like a little nervous about it being one of the only, if not the only Survivor game that he's played. So I think for me, I have a really hard time translating my Survivor game to Big Brother games. So it's interesting to see somebody do the opposite really well, of translate their Big Brother game to a Survivor game and do it successfully so far. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what Sam does going forward, for sure.
I am like thoroughly impressed with his gameplay, because it's not like it's not like he's on the bottom, and it's not like he's like peaking too soon. Like I could already tell it's like going to be a nice upwards trajectory for him. Like socially, it's like the perfect amount, I feel. And like I think like he's going to be the person I think is going to win the game, to be honest with you. That's going to be my pick. Like I'm just like, I think I have like, I don't know, I sense it.
Sam does this thing where like he uses the fact that he's a nice person to his advantage. Like Sam as a person is a very nice person, and like Keaton says, he kind of like hands it up a little bit in orgs and like is like not overly nice, but like does it in a way that I don't feel like he would like. He goes out of his way to have conversations with people and like just like talking about how their day is and to get that like personal connection with them, where like maybe he does that in his personal life, but like not as much as he does in games, I feel. But it works so well for him because like naturally he's just a very kind person, and that's how he makes his connections. And it's so like they feel so genuine. And as somebody who like had a very close connection with him in a game, like I know firsthand like how it feels to like have conversations with him and talk with him about stuff, and then like translate that to game. And he does it in such a smooth way that you don't even notice it. But I do agree with Josh. I do think Sam is at least getting the final three here. Madison Tawny.
I don't even know what Sam you're talking about because you didn't put a letter after it.
Sam A.
Is it, if you looked at Hall of Fame at all, it was the Sam that was playing that game.
It's not.
He won the
Sam
first
T, don't worry,
1984.
Tony.
Wait, what'd you say, Josh?
It's not Sam T.
Okay, well, I knew it wasn't Sam T.
He won the first 1984.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know this kid.
And then Madison has already said, not me.
I think she's like in the middle of getting her food right now.
Not only that, but I don't think she knows who the fuck Sam A is.
I don't know Sam at all. I feel really bad. Sam, sweetie, when you watch this.
They hate you. The women hate
I-
you.
I apologize. It's not me. I'm just trying to get my food.
Same. Yeah, totally. Same. Yep.
Okay, next up is Tim.
Well, why do we talk about him?
We can talk about him in this game, and I have a lot to talk about him.
I mean,
From what I understand, Tim is carrying his tribe right now.
oh yeah, no, he's
That's
100%
what I
carrying.
know.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I
he's
know.
100% carrying.
These are
his
the
tribe.
facts, the straight facts that are being laid down right
Okay,
now.
I wasn't there, but
Everybody knows it. Tim is carrying the tribe.
This
He's
is
gonna win this season.
this is the second time in 3 challenges Tim has not showed up.
And what makes this one even better was the night before, Tim was being extremely aggressive about how it should be done, about how everywhere, like Tim was basically
So-
leading everything.
This last challenge was code names, and like they wanted to practice last night, and I was on the call for it. And Tim was extremely aggressive with Kennedy, with Kevin, with Brandon, with Nathan, like all of them, and was like, no, it's being done this way. You go here, you go here. Like Kevin put in his prod chat, quote, thank you, Tim, for giving me permission to be Codemaster. Because Tim was like, no, now you can be Codemaster, Kevin. Or I don't know if that's the name. What's the name of it?
Spy Master.
Spymaster.
Tim,
Well, I mean, they won, so it must have worked, right?
They didn't listen to Tim.
Tim, is so like in this tribe. He's so fucking lucky they won the past 2 challenges, and that he's gonna make a swap. Because like literally after the challenge, they all said, "Yeah, like we hope we could lose before the merge, so we could just vote out Tim." All of them, except for Tim, were there. Like they all want him gone. He has no shot to win.
So do you think? I think no matter what tribe he gets swapped to, if they lose, he's probably gone. Because
I
you think
mean-
that people flip on him if they swap.
He's recognized on his tribe. In his project, he mentioned it, and I'm, to be honest, I feel like it's overly like clear that he's next, but he's starting to realize that. So if he swaps, he should ditch this entire tribe completely. Will he do it?
Did you see what Pete just put in his prod chat?
He should, but is he going to? Is the
What did
question.
Pete just
This
do?
is why Pete isn't okay. I changed my mind. Pete's not making merge.
Did we jinx Pete?
Apparently,
No,
He-
Pete. What are you doing?
had they lost, Pete was going to try and form a plan to keep Tim and get rid of Sam.
Well, okay, so it's a good thing they didn't go to tribal, because otherwise Pete would have been the boot.
Let's hope Pete comes to his senses when the swap comes.
This is how Tim gets far in games.
Because he connects with one person, and that one person fucks up their whole game to save his ass, and then he connects to one more person, and it just keeps spiraling like that.
'Cause
They all
Hmm,
fuck up their
yeah,
games.
you're right. I will tell you,
Tim.
you're 100% right. That's happening in 2 games right now. Because wow,
Similar to like how basically Tim needs to hit the sweet spot so he gets to like the second merge boot to the point where no one will evict him, and he ends up in like such a powerful position, similarly to like Trinity All Stars, I guess. But
yeah. I mean, let's be real here. His biggest issue is going to be having a chance to win. Because even if he plays the best fucking game on the goddamn planet, he gets to the end and attempts to pitch it. How much of a dick is he going to be?
Literally, no, not even that. If you look at like Deception Island, had Tim been in the final 3, they probably would have voted Robert over Tim, just because it's Tim. Because
no,
they weren't
I
voting
heard
for
it was
Z.
going to be Tim who was going to win that season.
You weren't hosting or on the
Connie,
season.
do not tell me you would not have voted for Robert over Tim, because you and me both would have voted for Robert over Tim.
Okay, see, right now I would vote for Robert over Tim, but I was also really pissed off at Robert for voting me out.
But you would have never voted for Z.
No,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Like
And
in the
Michael
moment,
Davis
what would
said-
you have done, Tony?
I would have voted for Robert because I didn't respect Tim's game.
It would have depended on how mad they made me.
And it's
Like
Tim
I
at a final
literally would have
tribal.
been who I was less mad at would have gotten my vote.
It's Tim at a final tribal.
I've never seen Tim at a final tribal.
He's actually
Exactly.
a decent speaker at FTCs. And he's aware of how he comes off.
Is he? Is he though?
See, if he would have been talking at FTC like how he was messaging me when I voted him out or tried to vote him out, then I probably would have voted for Robert. But I was also still really upset at Robert for voting me out. Because I was just like, why the fuck?
But
Yeah. Tim's play style is aggressive. Tim's personality is aggressive. Tim is aggressive.
I have a feeling that he's gonna be like a thorn on like so many people's sides, and that they have the opportunity to get rid of him now, and he's gonna go far. It's just like destiny.
I feel like it's going to be a Julian and surviving type of deal. Where it's like, why the fuck can't we get rid of Julian? Julian makes it to final 5. But like Tim. Like, why the fuck can we not get rid of Tim? Because like right when everybody wants to vote him out, there's gonna be a swap or there's gonna be a merge.
I just hope that Tim, in an attempt to stay in the game, tells people to get their head out of their ass as an attempt to flip the vote. That is what I hope, because he did that shit to me. Oh,
I think with chaotic players like that, there comes a point where, you know, they fall into that, oh, we can vote them out anytime sort of trap. And they just keep surviving and keep surviving and keep surviving because people are like, oh, we need to vote out these big threats. We need to vote out these, you know, people who are going to slide by. We need to vote those people out now. And then he turns into that person who's going to slide by because people are busy voting out the people who are going to slide by.
If you
So it's
ever
an
say we
interesting
should-
juxtaposition
But, like-
of the cycle of we need to vote out these people who are just going to sneak through. And then he falls into that position of the person who sneaks through.
It's funny though, because like in Kevin's pro chat, he literally said at the night, like if there wasn't a swap, Tim's fucked. Like if we weren't swapping at 15, Tim would have been fucked. Because Kevin was going to convince all of his tribe mates to throw the next challenge. So that Tim
You don't
could go
think that he
home.
does that at the swap?
If Tim's on his tribe and he trusts the people, maybe. But if it's Tim and Kevin with everybody, like 3 people on that tribe that Kevin does not know, I don't think he does that. And if he does, I think Kevin goes home and not Tim.
Are you doing 5s again?
How'd you guess?
I don't know. It's not like you did
But
5s
we're
in the
not
first
holding on for
season.
dear life to form tribes.
we're actually going to try and make the season interesting.
Not an endurance challenge to form the tribes this
Not an
time?
endurance challenge that makes the
Not an
tribes almost
endurance
exactly
challenge,
identical to
something
what they were before.
We're not doing an endurance challenge.
Hey,
this
that
time.
that endurance challenge swap worked out pretty well for me. So
Yeah, what place did you get again?
Didn't you almost get idled out?
no,
Yeah.
Josh was not playing that idol. Come on.
Josh, didn't you?
I
you
know,
vote out
I
the
know.
wrong
Let's
person?
we can talk about it. I know.
Okay.
Y'all know how I feel about that game. I'm my position on what I did in season 1 has not changed. So
Good. We talked about it a lot.
I know
Okay. So
people
we're
still
starting
talk
from the
about
bottom?
it. That's how good I am.
We should move on.
Yeah, start from the bottom.
Okay, next up is Steven.
Are we
Has
on the
not
other
talked to
tribe
his
now?
coach.
Yeah.
Huh?
We're on the other tribe now.
Steven has not messaged his pro chat once. Not to guess for an idol, not to talk to us, not once. Only to vote. He messaged to vote. That was it.
So
I
we're
mean-
not seeing Steven in All Stars, is what you're saying.
I mean, we're barely seeing Steven now.
No, but you know what? No, but like to play devil's advocate, he's messaging other people.
Yes.
He's-
Yeah,
he's
he is
playing the
messaging
game.
other people.
He's playing the game. He's just not talking to the DR, which
Danny
Yeah, but it's
Boatwright.
not just that. The thing about the twist with the idol system is you have to guess for idols in order to gain any type of traction with any relationship, I feel. Like anybody who has a strong relationship in this game is talking about what cards they have, is talking about like how they're maintaining these cards, how they're getting this, how they're doing that, and he's not doing any of that.
Well, so
Well, you can't
the-
trade cards if you don't have cards to
the
trade.
issue
you
I'm gonna
know?
face, the issue he might face is he's gonna come across people who are gonna be like, "Hey, what cards do you have?" And he's gonna say none, or
And then they're
I
not going to
haven't
believe
guessed.
him.
Like, are you gonna believe someone
Yeah.
who says I haven't guessed for the idol in 10 days? Like,
If somebody told me that, I would be like, "You're a liar. Goodbye." Like it's time for you to go.
There are certain
Which is
people I
exactly
believe that
what
would never
happened.
guess for the idol in a game, like someone on this call. But I'm calling out Kimmer again. But I don't think I would ever believe Steven in particular, because I've never played a game with him. I've only been hosted by him. But-
even Little Miss Tina guessed for a card on her.
Yeah,
Yes,
if
for
somebody
one
told me
card.
if somebody
One
told me
card.
they hadn't guessed, I would be like, "You are lying. Like you are lying. Like there's
Oh my
no
god, we
way
forgot to
you."
talk about Tina.
We'll talk about them at the end. Tina and Wes.
But yeah, I don't know. Steven? Is that who we're talking about? Yeah, okay. For some reason I was almost called him Andrew and I don't know why, but that's just my thing. I have to call somebody the wrong name at least once. It happens to me all the time. Just ask Keaton. But I don't know. I don't know them. I really can't contribute much to this conversation.
Retweet.
I honestly think that even living in Australia does help, because a lot of these people are night owls. So the time frame miraculously does work out really well. That's it. I don't know if there's much to say because we don't. I don't know if there's much to say because we don't have much to. He hasn't said much at all. Okay, bye, Nick.
I'm here.
Josh. Josh, who's next? Get us out of here. Josh!
All right, who we talking about next?
I believe next to Seb.
It is.
King Seb.
Is mayonnaise?
Is mayonnaise.
I am the mayor of Ponderosa.
I love Seb so much. I mean,
Seb is
Seb.
so-
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. My connection is laggy because I'm in the
No,
drive.
you go. You go.
I was just gonna say Seb is so good. I have watched Seb play so many games now. Seb has put me in his prod chat for a bunch of games, especially lately, and I've gotten to watch him grow. And he's become a much better player lately. He's read on the game and just his connection with people and just like his vibe in these games has gotten so much better, and he's so much more confident in his game now, which he should be. And it makes me happy to see that, and to watch him play more and play harder. And I hope he does really, really well in this game. Again, I haven't been paying super close attention, so I can't say much about his position right now, but I can say that I really want to see him do well.
So I love Seb. Like I can't. There's nothing bad I can say about Seb. I think he just has that personality that people enjoy. Like he's just a joy to be around. You have a conversation with him, he just draws you right in. Like I think he just has that personality that works really well for this game. And I think that people, and I don't know how intentional it is on his part, but I think he just has one of those personalities that you don't really see the strategic mind. I think you see the fun, the little bit of the goofiness, the personality, but you don't necessarily see the strategic mind. But he has a strategic mind. Like I don't know how many good strategic conversations we had in Prestige when we played together. Like I just loved talking game with him, and I really, really, really want to see Seb do well in this game. I think he deserves it. I think he's a really good player. I think I don't know. I have really high hopes for him. I really hope he can pull it off. I think he's got the brains to make it happen. And I think he also, especially from what I've seen so far of this cast, I think he is able to sort of find that middle ground of people want to work with him, but people also don't necessarily see him as an upfront threat. So I think he can sort of find that flow, that middle ground to really make it far in this game. And I really, really hope he does.
I think all the pieces are there. I think he just has to like capitalize, play with like conviction, and like just be confident in his moves, and like he could do it.
My first experience with Seb was me playing 1984 with him, me being HOH, and him saying, "Put me up, I should stay." Guess how that one ended? Since then, he has done extremely well, and it doesn't necessarily up front doesn't necessarily show. No, he does continually get called out for worst move of the season, but it's just little things that end up screwing him. It's the little things. He has become much better. He's much more aware than he's ever been. Especially in this game in particular, he's situated extremely well. He's got right like on his tribe, he's got no risk of leaving. Like I don't think he's leaving the night this round, so I don't think he's got to worry there.
I think that. Go ahead.
My biggest worry for him is he's got a lot of ideas that he wants to work with right now. There's a lot of things that he wants to do, and he stated that in his prod chat. He's got to pace himself is going to be the biggest thing. If he's just focused on making moves, we're not going to see much more of him, which I would be ashamed. I would be so sad to see him go so early because I want to see him play well. It's just, will he pace himself? And if he doesn't, it's going to be entertaining, but it's not going to have him last much longer.
I love Seb so much. Seb's biggest problem in these games is himself. And not in a Tim way, not in a Nathan way, not in a Brandon way. He gets to a certain point in the game and he feels like it's happened so many times where I feel like it's almost like clockwork. He'll get to a certain point, he'll feel like he's not doing enough. He'll try and make a big move and it'll explode in his face. And I just want him to, like Keaton said, pace himself. I want him, because right now he's doing quite a bit, but in a good way. He's making connections. He's helping for idols that are good for his side, for his group of people. And it's working. But I just want him to not see things as black and white and start looking in the grays in the middle. And understanding that it's not you're a big player or you're invisible, that you can play under the radar, you can play somewhere in the middle and still win. We've all played games where somebody, if it was you or if it was somebody else, played the middle the entire game at Josh and BB Disney and won. And playing the middle isn't necessarily hopping from side to side. It's just you cannot be the biggest threat and win. It's the biggest threat to go 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. They're never the people that are at the end, because the biggest threats, they're called the biggest threats for a reason. And I just want him to understand that you don't have to have such a big target on your back to win a game. And I feel like if he understands that, he'll win.
I know that's I've always had that sentiment that you don't, a lot of players want to have that validation of I'm a good player, and make those moves and big flashy decisions, but you just got to keep it simple, get to the end, play solid, and then present your case, in my opinion.
I think I know what you're talking about, Nick. You don't have to be the biggest threat to win the game.
And sometimes it's understandable, because sometimes you find yourself in that position where it's okay, I've just been playing. I've just been playing the game like I've wanted to, and I just became the biggest threat that way. That happens to me a lot, where it's I've just been playing the game how I see fit, and people are targeting me now because I've been playing the game. And that's okay, but I feel like Seb more times than not finds himself in this position to where even if he's playing the game, even if he's not the top target, but up there, he feels like he's not playing the game, and he'll try and do something crazy to try and make it look like he's playing the game at the top. And it's no, you literally could have won the game had you just stayed in that middle.
I think he also has to be careful. I think with people like Seb, if you're in a group of people and those people are bigger threats than you have to be careful, because when people are trying to make early moves, they're gonna take the bottom out from those big threats. They're gonna take the people who are close to big threats out because you're not gonna see those moves coming. You know what I mean? So I think he has to be careful of being involved in the gameplay and being aligned with bigger threats, but without necessarily being the person that people aren't going to be expecting to receive votes. You know what I mean? So he has to be careful. He's got to tread lightly.
I'm also kind of scared for Seb because like in that core alliance that he has of him, Billy, and Jerry, for me at least, Jerry's the obvious target to go after, but Jerry has an idol.
Mhm.
And if like votes are split, I do feel like Seb's gonna get the next, like if like they split votes,
We've seen it
gonna be
happen.
Seb over Billy.
We've seen it happen.
We've seen Seb be fucked by an idol before.
And I genuinely like, if I was Seb and Jerry was like, give me your cards, I'm gonna be like, I would have been like, why can't I have the idol?
Okay, but
I think it goes back to Seb is I love Seb because he's really focused on the sort of the team aspect of he wants to get the alliance, the team, the core, the group. He wants to see those people succeed. He wants to make sure that everybody's happy, everybody's comfortable, that group is doing well. And I think that's where he falls to the bottom of that totem pole and is the person that people are like, okay, let's vote for Seb because Jerry's not going to play his idol on Seb or Billy's not going to play the idol on Seb. So let's vote for him and get him out. Like it's happened. We've seen it happen. I just really hope he doesn't fall into that same position again.
I think he needs to realize that the people who he's currently working with right now will probably not have his best interests later.
Oh, I agree, especially with the specific people he's working with.
Because
The second a swap happens,
Napolito and Jerry have the connection that they're both like,
You can say it, Josh. It's okay.
I don't, and
they're both like they're same nationality, okay?
You're
And
very
then-
careful.
And then
they literally
now
have a chat called like, what is it called?
I don't know.
I think it's literally called Mexican Sensations.
So to me, Seb's person that he should work with long term would be Billy.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Because Billy is the perfect person to latch onto because he's going to be all over the place and try to play the game really hard. And then Billy's gonna get snatched like early jury, and then you carry the load from there. That's my opinion. But
See, the issue I have is like, as much as y'all don't think it's gonna happen, in any singular game that they have played together, Kevin and Billy stick together. And I'm not gonna be 100% and being like, that's definitely gonna happen, that's definitely not gonna happen. But Kevin knows that like he can do exactly what you just said to Billy. And it's worked in the past.
I think if they don't, I think if Kevin and Billy do not meet up before a merge, they don't work together.
I was gonna say, I think that's something we can talk about when we get to Billy, but yeah, I think it's not necessarily set in stone.
I just think that Seb is working with the wrong people right now.
Okay.
I've said this already. I really, 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 really hope Seb gets to make it really far in this game. I don't know that I have a specific winner pick for the season, but Seb is definitely like top 2, top 3 in terms of people I would love to see win this game. And I really hope that he can pull it off.
Agreed.
Okay. Next is Napolito.
Floppolito.
I only know Napolito. I think I've played one game with Napolito and it was on 10 gauged. It was JRBB All Stars. And I think we voted him out like first. So that's, you know what? I know of Napolito. I've heard a lot about them, but I have zero personal experience with them. So I'm going to bow out of the conversation early.
Yeah, I will also bow out here because I only have personal conversation with Napolito as well. I have ideas of what Nop has done, but to be honest, I've never paid attention. So I'm also bowing out of this conversation.
I love Napolito. In the first Big Brother game I ever played, I was the HOH when he got evicted. He is one of the most interesting people to play because the biggest thing of Big Brother of 1984 when he played was that he was seen as a snake because he talked to everybody, he talked game to everybody, and the second game I saw him play with only one left. And he took all of that critique, stuck to a group, and won the game. And I feel like he's still taking critique. Like, Napolito is one of the only people in this community that I see take critique and apply it directly to the next game they play. And it's like, I don't like Napolito. I'm trying not to be mean because I love him. He isn't one of like he's not one of the best people I've ever seen play orgs. Like, he's not like dominant every single time he plays or anything like that. But Napolito has this charm about him where like it makes you feel like you're connected to him, even if he doesn't feel connected to you. And I do think he's gonna go far in this season.
I think he's not. I think he's gonna go really far. I think that he's been really, really connecting with the people in his tribe, and he's playing a really balanced game right now. Like, it's not overbearing. He's not trying to like meta it and be above everyone else. I think he knows his role, and I think that I think a lot of people just naturally like him, and they also like him as an ally right now, and that's a perfect combination. And but when it comes down to the merge, like, that's when it's gonna be business time, and I hope that he knows how to take care of it.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people in this cast so far that like it seems like there's a lot of people when you get to a merge situation, there's a lot of people that could fill that role of the merge target, those big threats. But I feel like there's also, on the other hand, a lot of people who could slide into that position at the merge where you're not necessarily seen as a threat, but you're seen as somebody who people can work with. And, you know, I feel like there's a few people who are sort of filling that role of people who could potentially sneak through at the merge. And I feel like Napolito sort of falls into that category as well. And so for me, it'll be interesting to see who ends up in those positions of they're going to be those merge targets. They're going to be emerging as big threats, as big game players, but then also interesting to see which one of the people who sort of will fit into that role of they're not the biggest threat. They're also not the first person on people's hit lists, and that are going to be able to sneak through. And if they get through a couple of votes, are able to make it far in the game. So it'll be definitely interesting to see sort of through these next couple rounds how the pieces fall into place.
The biggest thing, especially with I think this group of people, is a lot of these players are really good when they ride the wave, right? Like, they're good socially when they're in a good spot, like, it's nice. But what separates, you know, the good from the elite is everyone's going to get bound to get targeted at one point. And when your game starts to crumble, like, can you escape disaster and then get back on top? Or will you fall like a house of cards?
Okay, you
hated
know what?
that.
That's it.
No.
We're ending this
Hey,
early,
that's pretty
actually.
good. That's the first time it's come up. That's the first time it's been mentioned so
Yeah,
far.
it
We're
is the first
fairly
time-
far into this thing.
But it is once more than it has to be mentioned, and quite honestly, we're done.
Oh, come on. As a host, can you really not? You have to put that in there at least once.
I mean, when
know?
it's Josh, you can bully him all you want for it.
Okay, I could have done this like 7 times already. Once.
See, I think that's good. I think that's good. We've only had it once, so I think that says a lot.
Who are you?
Connie, Madison, anybody?
I don't have anything to say. I wish I did.
Were
I have
we also
to
talking
go.
about not?
Yeah.
Yeah, no comment.
Because of, never mind.
What do you mean?
Because you don't know him, or because you don't like him?
I only know him like semi personally. Like, I've like heard of how he is in games, but
Okay,
never, like-
fair enough. All right, next up is Michael Barton. Y'all know him more than I do.
Yeah, I don't really know him that much.
Everything I'm gonna say will be me being an ass. So I will let other people speak before I.
I've only been hosted by him.
I've played with Barton one whole time, and the round that I tried to work with him was the round that he got voted out. So, but I think for me, sorry,
No, go
but-
for it.
but, I'm just gonna say, like, for me, Barton was somebody that in the one game we played together, I wasn't working with him, but the first time we had a conversation, I instantly liked him. Like, he just was somebody who I think got straight to the, the heart of it. He was somebody that I felt was being very genuine with me from the start as I was trying to be with him. Like, I think I feel like he's somebody that is a very genuine person, and I think that sort of reflects in the way that he plays the game. For me, I felt like you could have those strategic conversations right off the get-go and not feel like he's coming off as a game bot necessarily. I don't know. I just really liked Barton in the very few interactions that we had. I am really excited to see him play this season, and I really hope that he does well. So that's kind of my thoughts on Michael Barton. I think he's great.
I have words to say about Michael Barton. I'm also going to be a little bit of an ass, but I don't know. I also love Michael Barton. That being said, I slightly disagree with what you said a little bit, Josh, not in the sense because I do agree he's very likable as a person, like on a personal level, like you connect with him. He's very like upfront. He's very straightforward. I agree with that. However, I think once you do get into that game talk with him, and this is in certain circumstances, because as soon as Michael gets power or he feels like he's in a good spot, he gets so cocky. He gets so cocky instantly, and he starts like domineering the moves that he's making, and he has wonderful ideas. He's got a great strategic mind. I think he just doesn't. I haven't seen him use it successfully, and that's usually what kills him. Is that I don't know, like he almost kind of like tells his allies kind of what to do in almost every game that I've played with him. I know it's rubbed me the wrong way in games. I know it's rubbed a lot of other people the wrong way in games, where he's just like, all right, this is what the move is, this is what we're doing. And I don't know if he's doing that yet here, but I've definitely seen him do that consistently. So if he can stay away from that and kind of stay a little more under the radar and not be so abrasive with his moves, I think he could do really well.
So Seb threw a vote onto Steven at this last tribal, and Steven thinks it was Michael Barton because they had beef in another game, and that might come into play tonight, I think, or tomorrow night. So,
and I know, like, because I'm in Seb's prod chat, that he was saying that he really wants to try to take advantage of that beef between Barton and Steven. So I think, like, hopefully, I don't know, it's just an interesting thing that, like, I think for me, like, I definitely have not experienced that side of Barton that Madison was talking about, but that's because the one time I worked with Barton, I had the power and he didn't. So but yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I definitely like have only sort of an outsider's perspective on that, but it'll be interesting to see. I think Barton, from if what people are like, because I know he's not necessarily in the majority, like he was one of the people that wasn't included in that big alliance, right? Because there was that 6, or was he in that 6? I'm asking the people who know, because I don't know.
What's going on? No,
Because
seriously.
I know Seb was talking about it, and Billy was talking about it, because I know Billy wasn't in it, and I think Barton
yeah,
was the
Michael
other
wasn't in it
person.
either.
Yeah, Barton's
Yeah.
the other one not involved.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I think he could be in trouble, but I also think I think other people see his feuds with, like that feud with Steven, and I think people are going to try to use it to their advantage. And it seems like Barton is somebody that people are going to at least want to keep around for now.
Look, at this point, there's a 6 and a 5 on that tribe, neither of which have Barton.
Yeah. So I think Barton's not necessarily long for this game, but I think if he survives this boat and gets, I think he gets merged, but again, I think he could theoretically be in that sort of, 11, 10, 9 sort of spot come the
He's-
merge.
Michael needs to hit a swap and then like really start putting the gas on because the game is gonna leave him behind if he doesn't. So
Yeah, like he's not an idiot, but he's got to keep cool, keep calm, and focus on one game.
yeah, he might not be in immediate danger right now, but you gotta know when. So
I do think we're still on Barton, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was dealing with something. I do think based off of like messages he's had with people, he's like in a lot better position than like somebody else on the tribe. Because I do think he's having those game talks somewhat with people, whereas like I feel like certain other people aren't. Do I think that he's 100% safe going into this round's vote? Absolutely not. I just don't really know how I feel about him because I don't really know him that well.
yeah. Next up is Jerry.
I hope he gets out really fucking soon, just because it's funny.
I
God,
mean,
I think-
look, credit to him. Well, credit to the people that they were able to get an idol round 3. I didn't think it happened yet, but the problem is that half the tribe knows, and I don't know. Have any of you experienced how it is playing an org with an idol in your pocket that everyone knows about for a long time? Or no?
I don't like
No.
being
Yeah.
called out. I don't like being called out right now. 2 people. Yeah, Madison, how did we feel?
I hate it here. I hate it here. It's
What's
so
having an
not-
idol? I don't know what that is.
Trust me, you don't wanna.
Yeah,
I feel-
no. As a notorious leaker of many idols, I have both played with and played around idols that people have known about the entire time. I'm getting better about doing that, by the way, for future reference. If I play with any of you ever again, I've gotten a lot better.
No, she hasn't.
I have. That being said, I don't know. It's really difficult to like navigate that situation. I think because you have to like you automatically know you have that target, but it's always kind of like that game of reverse psychology of like getting people to think that you're gonna play it or being in such a comfortable spot that no one's targeting you. But that's such a hard place to be comfortable in when you know you have that idol in your pocket and everyone else does too, because that's always a target hanging over your head that you cannot get rid of until you play it. And you never want to like flush it necessarily and just like waste it, but at the same time, is it worth it just to get the target off your back? It sucks. It's really shitty.
Yeah, I was thinking like, so you could people are either gonna constantly trying to shank you in the back, or you're just going to be like in an immense position where like you have allies and they don't care that you have the idol. That you see as a tool rather than a threat.
I think he has to be careful because I think just based off the people he's working with, if they all know he has an idol, I think they're going to use it as long as it's advantageous for them. But as soon as Jerry's idol becomes a hindrance, they're going to make the move. And I think he has to be careful because from what I know, like Jerry won in All Stars, right? So he already has a bit of a target, I think. And if you have an idol, like as much as an idol can be used, especially if you find it as a group, as a bonding unit, if I know that one of my close allies has an idol and I see them as a bigger threat than me, and they're already a bigger threat than me, and they have an idol in their pocket, and they're good at these things, it's like at a certain point, you're going to have to pull the trigger on them. And so I think for Jerry, it's going to be being careful about not just that the other side is going to target him, but he's got to watch his own back at the same time, because I think the move is going to come from somebody in that inner circle.
Yeah.
I don't think I like as much as I think Jerry's a great player and I think Jerry can do very well. I don't think Jerry's winning this season. I don't think anybody lets Jerry near the end.
I think Jerry's good very
Agreed.
socially. I don't think Jerry. I don't think strategy is Jerry's strong suit, but he's not also bad there either. I think he's going to rely on his bonds with people to carry him, and allow that to give him information.
But I also think that this idol system's kind of rotted in the fact that like you can't really get an idol unless half your tribe knows. Like the only way to get an idol is if you either A, get extremely fucking lucky, B, get very lucky and only have to tell one person, C, get lucky and have to tell one person or two people, or D, just have to tell three people.
The interesting thing about the advantages in this game is that it's nearly impossible to get it on your own. You like the luck you need is insane.
Because even if you don't work with somebody, people are going to work with each other and they're going to find it before you can on your own.
Yeah, and it's like it's a power of information thing. Like to me, you wanna find people that you could stack advantages with, and well,
I don't know. I think Jerry's like, I don't know if it would work, but you almost have to play it off in terms of this is you have to really be willing to part with that idol of this is really this group's idol. Like you have to genuinely do that, which I know is a hard thing to do. I would have a hard time doing that because I would want to keep that really close. But I think in order for Jerry to get the target off of his back, you have to, maybe burn the idol the first round of the merge or something like that in order to sort of shift that target and get that off your back. But I don't know that I don't know that I would be able to do that. So I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to do that easily. I think that's a really hard thing to do, is to have a group advantage like that and actually use it as a group advantage. I don't think that's an easy thing to do at all.
Trust and loyalty is like easier said than done.
Yep. Yep. And that's coming from me. I'm a very, very trusting and a very, very loyal player. And for me to say it's really hard to do that, like I feel like a lot of people would struggle with that.
This is the thing. If two people are completely loyal to each other, they're gonna go far. If three people are super loyal to each other, they're gonna go probably to the end. But there's always someone.
You can't have a loyal group of 5 go to the end together. Like it just does not work.
Oh, that to the 7.
Okay, but
Tell that to the 7.
Okay, that is.
Remember that 7-person alliance you were a
Yeah,
part
but
of, Josh?
that 7 was never going to the end together.
But they did.
We got to the
No,
7, yeah, but that wasn't for me. That 7, the 7 was never just about getting to the 7. The 7 was about trying to get other people close to me so that I could get further in the game. It didn't work out for me. I tried really hard. It didn't work out. The 7 was never about getting to the 7. The 7 was about getting to the 7 so I could pull different people to make it a 4, to make it a 3, to make it a 2.
I agree.
But in terms of when you say you can't get a group of 5 to the end, you got a group of 7 as far into the game as you can possibly get a group of 7.
That was a unique group of 7. I don't see that happening. That happens once in a million.
Happened once, why not twice?
Exactly.
Because I don't see. I don't
Maybe
know.
it'll happen twice in 2 million.
Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it will happen again. But as somebody who experienced a group like that getting all the way,
And
I
I'll
don't
let you
think it
know.
happens often.
I'll let you know. Rachel found her first advantage in round 3.
I know Rachel found all of the advantages. Like
Okay,
I
but
know
that was
what
straight
you're
up luck.
saying.
That was luck.
All I'm
Josh-
saying is Rachel found her first advantage in round 3. So maybe Jerry's getting third.
Josh, none of us question why it was luck. Why did you say it was luck?
No, because the amount of
Rachel
freaking
had so much
advantages
luck in that season.
was like sus to prod. We were like, how? Literally how?
But I think like obviously as somebody who did that, we took the 7 to the 7. And I think there were a lot of factors as to why that happened. I think there was, You know, like Megan even admitted after the season, she was not feeling it. She was just tired. She wanted to make a move, but the energy, the willingness wasn't there. So she just opted into sticking to the 7. You know, like I feel like it was just such extenuating circumstances and such unique circumstances that brought us to that point. I don't see that happening
Yeah.
again, especially like, I don't know. It just was a weird set of circumstances.
Okay, let's move on. Next is Hot Girl Chris.
Pause. Look at Napolito and Jerry's. Is he joking? I think he's joking. I just want to make sure he's joking. And that's a perfect segue into Hot Girl Chris.
The sentence by Napolito is saying,
Okay,
I'm voting Chris
he's
as
joking.
as.
He's joking. He's joking.
Yes, he is 100% joking, but he still said it.
That was weird. Sorry. Chris is one of my favorite people in this community. He's one of the closest people I know in this community. Chris always finds a way to fuck himself over at endgame. He always makes it to the end and always fucks himself over at the end. And it might be because of the people he takes to the end. It might be because of himself. But like without fail, at the end, he's going to fuck himself over.
For me,
Also,
Chris is one of those
fuck you,
people.
Keaton.
Chris is one of those people that like I don't know, but I know of, and like you said, Nick is one of those people that I would go close to the end of the game with because I know of them and think that's a good. Like for me, I like finding ways to connect with people, and so it's like I would want to work with them, but not take them to the end. And like that's just like for me, I don't know Chris. When we were technically in the same season of Trinity, but never actually played the game together. So Chris is somebody that I'm definitely rooting for because like I know of them, but I think again it's one of those things that if I was playing this season, I would take them to a 7-6, and that's as far as I would let them get. So I don't know. I feel like a 5th place, but that's just me.
I absolutely love Chris. Like he's like a shining light and like a naturally great person.
Agreed.
And
Like
I hope he does well. Like I genuinely think it'll be a good season. Like not that it won't be, but I think he's good for the game. And
like literally during the last immunity comp, Chris, if you don't know, Chris always wears wigs, which are shirts that he puts on his head. He like the entire tribe, everybody but Andrew had wigs on, like those wigs on. And, like he's just somebody that like is very sociable. I love him. I can't say anything bad about Chris. I love him so much.
Yeah, and I think though, like I think like obviously like I don't know Chris, but I said like that there's somebody that has that reputation of being a genuinely amazing person and everybody loves them, and so they're Chris is gonna go far. But I just have a hard time seeing people letting Chris win the game.
Hot Girl Chris for the win.
Oh, fuck you, Josh. I just looking at you. Fuck off. With whatever the fuck Josh is doing being done. I like Chris a lot as a person. I haven't had the opportunity to play with Chris often, but Chris is someone who gets underestimated as a player. I think they're jokingly ditzy. Their attitude publicly gets them constantly. Yep, so do I. Gets them constantly underestimated and allows them to play at a much higher level than anyone would expect, and allows their moves to basically be amplified by how effective they are. I think with this group of people, he got lucky. He knows a lot of them. He ain't gonna be at risk. He right now he's good. Can't wait to fuck you, Nick. I can't wait to see what happens with a swap when he's in tighter numbers, because I think right now this was kind of his ideal situation. He worked. The more people there are, the better it is for him. If he can pull out of a tight swap, then he's fucking golden. I see him making Final Five without a doubt in my mind.
Gee,
Also, goddamn, I hate this broad team.
Okay.
You're not gonna join them, Keaton?
I'd rather die.
Keaton, you literally were a Rubik's Cube. I don't want to hear it.
And what about it?
Not that.
All right. Next is Billy.
Oh, King.
B Vance.
Who? Literally never heard of him before. And by that I mean God. As a person, absolutely love him. One of the people I feel closest with in this community as a whole. As a game player, him and I are exact opposites. I will bluntly say he is very mad about the way I've been playing Disney so far, because it is the exact opposite of what he would have done. We are not similar in how we go about games at all, but he's still a very good player. But someone who, honest to God, their worst thing is just being loyal. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it fuck them over several times, and I'm not even referencing the very reason that they lost Taze. Surprisingly, it's I'm not trying to reference that because that's the most obvious thing. But I've seen it happen time and time again where Billy stays close to people that he's good with.
Look at
that's the
1984
thing,
season 5. 1984 season 5. Billy was so close with Kevin that it fucked him over. And
Problem with Billy is
go ahead.
is that he always wants to peak and be like riding high the whole time when that's not gonna happen.
It's like Billy knows we're talking about him. He's literally getting on call with Seb right now.
Billy's an in-your-face player. He's very face value. He gives you like exactly what you think it is. And that's what I love about Billy. That's why when I play games with Billy and we actually play together, we mesh very, very well. Because Billy is very much like, I know exactly what I'm going to get out of Billy. Like, I know what I sign up for when I work with Billy. And I know that if I'm Billy's number one, he's going to protect me with his life in the game. And I feel like a lot of people in this community do take advantage of that and are very much under the impression of like, if I'm Billy's number one, like if I get the closest to bit with Billy, he's going to protect me with his game no matter what. And right now I feel like Jerry's doing it. I think Billy can win. I think Billy can win this game. I think Billy himself is making all the right connections. Especially in this early on game, he's forming bonds with people that he'll need later. And I feel whoever he gets swapped to, like if he gets swapped with a member on his tribe now, like that bond's just gonna get closer. And going into merge, if he makes merge, I do feel like it'll be very beneficial to him. Billy has played a lot of games with a lot of these people. And I feel like everybody, or the majority of them, kind of understand his game and know what to expect from him. And it's not a bad thing, which is why I feel like Billy's in a good place, because you have players like Josh who like switch up their game slightly a little bit, try and maneuver it, try and like build upon it. You have people like Keaton who you have no fucking idea how they're gonna fucking play games. You have people like Josh Rogers who like plays games so far apart that like you can't really remember what type of game they play. You have players like Madison who like Madison, yeah.
Madison,
just
fun fact, someone like Madison who will be inactive for 6 rounds and then maybe we'll do something.
I'm sorry.
be
Wait,
inactive,
first
be
of all,
inactive for 6.
Nick say, and
Be
then what?
inactive for.
Fuck up, rat.
Am I
inactive
wrong?
For 6 rounds,
Am I wrong?
Maybe be inactive for 6 rounds. Maybe do something. If she survives that, run the game.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a strategy that doesn't work. It's just I'm gonna fucking read you the filth.
I
And
feel
then
like
you have.
for for me, I know, like, I can't speak to anyone else, but like, I know for me, a lot of that comes from I need someone to light the fire. I play better when I'm playing against someone else. I need to have someone that I'm playing against first. And a lot of times that doesn't happen for me until later in the game. And then once I have like that motivation, that rage to fuel my game, then I can move on and then I can run the game because I want to. But and I feel like there's some people, and especially once you've been playing for a while, it can kind of get like that where you need like a reason to be focused in and like energized in playing the game. Otherwise it's just kind of like, oh god, I have to talk to so many people.
Me in perception right now.
Exactly.
The thing I like about Billy is like, obviously, I feel like we have that similar trajectory of I've been burned by a lot of people that were my number ones that I trusted, and they cut me because they knew that I was never flipping on them. But I think for me, the evolution that I found in my game was play the game people expect you to play, but then switch it up when they least expect it. And so I feel like if Billy can find that sort of pocket of people know that he's loyal. So you know what? Be loyal. Be loyal to the soil. But when people least expect it, that's when you make the move. That's when you use the things that people expect from you against them, you know? So I
Remind me
think
to never play a game with Josh. Remind me to never play a game with Josh. Also,
hey, we played
then-
one game together and it worked out pretty well for us. So
also, and then you have players like Tani, I love you, who are great players,
But
but the emotional stress of the game gets to them so immensely that they cry every single round.
hey, you know what? I've actually gotten better recently. Thank you very fucking much.
My
Yeah,
absolute
so-
favorite thing is seeing Tani flip out on Josh every single round of Taste 3.
Yeah, not just on Josh. Not just on Josh.
On the game aspect of it, flip out on the moves Josh makes in the game every single moment in Taste 3. So good. So good.
You deserved
Wait.
it.
Taste
He did.
three, what a
He
distant
did.
memory.
As somebody who has Final 2 with Josh, he does deserve it
Taste
every
th-
single time.
Taste 3 is the reason why I don't do shit on prods anymore. Taste 3 is the fucking reason.
The road
Well,
to
you don't
hell
do
is
what?
paved with good intentions.
No, it's not. It's paved for you to win orgs and somebody to get second place.
Yeah.
But
Well-
anyways, I think with Billy, I think I would really like to see him sort of play in that sort of role of let people trust him and then take advantage of the fact that people think that they're playing him. Because I think if he lets people think that they're playing him and they're taking advantage of him, but he's secretly doing the opposite, I think he can find himself in a really good position. And I think the fact that he has been left out of a major alliance and was almost immediately told that there was a majority alliance that he was not a part of, I think speaks volumes to his game. And I think it speaks that people want him around. And so I think I'm having a hard time picking a winner pick, but I think Billy has to be it for me. I really want to see Billy win this game. And I really hope that he can pull it off.
Oh,
So-
I think in any format, if Billy's not one of the first 3 boots, he makes it to the end or close to the end. Billy either crashes and burns really fast, or
He's
he,
God.
with the exception of BB Disney, he like leaves people in the dust.
I know
And
nothing about that. I either get double digits or top 5. So it's that's how we do.
I really love Billy as a person and as a player. I think that a lot of people share that similar sentiment of like, Billy's a great player and he's also a great person. I know Keaton's probably going to say something stupid and snarky right now, but deep down somewhere in that black soul of Keaton, he knows that Billy's a great person and a great player. And I'm really excited to watch him play.
Billy's fucking toxic, and frankly, if he gets past the first 5 boosts this game, I'm going to be suing everyone that is on Prod.
We touched on it earlier with Kevin, but what do you like with, I guess, like Billy's side of it? How do you think it's like Kevin is going to like affect him knowing that they're most likely going to end up
If they-
getting together.
If they don't meet in the swap, I think it'll be better for Billy. Because Kevin knows how Billy plays, knows that Billy's going to be loyal to whoever talks to him every single day, whoever keeps that conversation going with him every single day. Kevin knows that about Billy. I'm just scared that Billy's going to be taken advantage of in the sense of like, Kevin's played an entire game with Billy. Like, I've played an entire game with Billy. I know if I were to go into a game and talk to Billy every single day and build that trust with him again, I could do the exact same thing. And I know Kevin knows that because Billy's a very loyal player. And I'm just scared that because Kevin's really fucking smart. We've all established that Kevin is extremely intelligent. The way that Kevin can sit there and talk shit about every single person on this cast and the entire cast still feels good with Kevin is insane to me. Because I could never. I quite literally could never. I would get called out in a second. So I think that if they don't meet, Billy won't be able to form that connection that as fast with Kevin. And it might turn into a Billy versus Kevin type of thing. But if they do meet, I do fear that like it'll just turn into like Kevin thinking Billy's his like lapdog.
I think like being in Billy's project, Billy has already said that he's scared that Kevin is here. And so I think that Billy is already aware that people are going to see them as a duo if they ever meet up in this game. I don't know about Kevin because obviously I'm not in his project, but I think that's good for Billy of the fact that at least Billy is aware that these are the perceptions that people have about him and Kevin. And hopefully he can maneuver around those perceptions or even use that to his advantage. But I think for me, like the fact that Billy is aware of those things already is a really good sign for me. I think, you know, it's when you get, you know, you think, oh, this person's going to be my really close ally. I'm going to trust them. They're going to, you know, we're going to be a duo again. I think that's where you get into trouble. But I think the fact that he's already being like, I don't necessarily want Kevin to be here. I'm really hoping that Billy can figure out how to maneuver around that.
Agreed. Sorry, we're updating idle guesses right now.
Yeah, it has hit midnight, so people
I
are going
figured,
in.
I'm like, the prod team is all seems to be on a similar wavelength, so something is happening.
And a lot of people, also a lot of people are talking. I will say this game is extremely active. Like just as there's a general statement, these people are playing. Like most of these people, we actually can get things on them. Steven, even though he's not in this, not talking his rush, he's playing the game. Like everyone's here. It's interesting.
Especially
to
the
see how
fact
this
that the
goes.
tribe is like going to tribal council, you know, as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
Are trying to solidify
Oh yeah,
a
there are
plan.
two calls. There are two calls right now. One from a tribe that is going, and one from the tribe that isn't.
Well, it's also
I wish I
annoying
could be
when
a fly
like,
on the wall.
not annoying. So when we asked for a time for the Hearts tribe, they said midnight. And so like logically in my brain thinking like, are these people crazy? Midnight tonight? And so I said that and they're like, no, midnight tomorrow, idiot. And I'm like, oh.
Literally the number of times I tried to get people to schedule a midnight tribal council, like there were a couple times in Prestige where I was like, let's do tribal like as soon as possible. Like let's do it right now, but nobody went for it. Those were the times I had the necklace around my neck, by the way. So
We got one more person.
Oh,
Andrew.
who?
so fun
I don't
fact,
know how
a
to feel
four of a
about it.
kind could be claimed right now, but we'll see.
Wait,
What is a four of a kind?
Um,
I'm assuming
I'm gonna-
each
I'm gonna
hand
do
is a different
Gatorades.
advantage, or
each hand is a different advantage. Four of a kind is an extra vote. A straight flush is a steal a vote. And the royal is an idol. But just so you guys know, fraud, if they claim a four of a kind, it's a 5-card poker hand, so it's like 4 plus a random card.
Okay, so they just Why the fuck is Zach on here right now? Do you see it?
Huh?
Zach helped us with our idol board, but like Zach is actively on the like Google Sheets right now.
Oh, he does that all the time. He will just look. Don't worry, that's normal. He doesn't do anything. He's just kind of there. I mean, he has access, so we can't stop him. It's not like we're going to.
I want
Do we have
to.
anything to say about our last cast member that we haven't talked about yet?
Andrew,
I will just say Andrew for me is a wild card. I've never heard him before, and now I'm playing with him in a fucking week-long mini thing. So I guarantee you I will gain opinions of him after this.
Yeah, I don't know Andrew at all. So
I
don't-
played Ascendant with Andrew.
He did play last season. Him and fucking
Mhm.
seven other people in this fucking game.
Yeah, I know. I messaged Papa as soon as I saw the cast. I'm like, you really just decided to cast half of my season, didn't you?
No, it was pay to play, and all of them just played the last season, so it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But he, from what I remember, 'cause I know he left shortly after I did. He was. What people would tell me, at least, is that they would forget Andrew was there. And then I think it kind of got to the point to where it's like, okay, now we've gotten rid of people that we don't want here. Now let's get rid of the people that it's just kind of like that are meh. You know?
Yeah.
But he was pretty active. I know, like in the VL, and from what I remember, I believe he was like active, like at least of like wanting to know what was like going on. He just wasn't like at the forefront of anyone's mind. And I think that's, if he doesn't fix that, that could easily be his downfall here.
yeah, I have high hopes for him. He seems like he's playing hard, and it's always good to see a new face. So
I'll go answer their questions real quick. BRB. But real quick about Andrew. I don't really know him. I do think he's a wild card, and I'm kind of a little bit excited to see what he does, because from what I've seen, the material that was given, he's been kind of like a hectic player, especially in the music video.
So if you're gonna answer their questions, they don't know the advantage until it's claimed,
I know.
and they need 5 cards.
I'll let them know. BRB.
And I wanted to do a little few-minute thing talking about our boots, Wes and Tina, because they might watch. Wesley might. I don't know what Tina is. I'm sad Wesley was second boot.
Me too. I don't really know Wesley, but when I saw them, they were somebody there for me. They're a rootable a rootable person, and I really wanted to root for them and see them succeed. Because I'm pretty sure they were also an early boot in Trinity this past season. So whenever I see an early boot in another game, I really like to see them go further than they did the last time I saw them play. So Wesley was definitely somebody that I feel like I was rooting for, and I was quite sad about what happened, for obviously them going out second boot. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
And Tina, she didn't do the music video, well, because she was at the casino. You know what? I wouldn't have done it either if I was at the casino.
Well, yeah,
really,
I don't
really
think you
taking
can
this
strip in
theme of the
public,
season to
Josh.
heart.
I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna say one thing. Fuck you, Kimry. I'm higher than you on the power rankings and prestige. Fuck off.
Did those come out?
Yes. Billy just released them.
Are you number 1, Josh?
No, he's 2.
I don't know. I'm
Don't
gonna
give
look.
a
I'm
fuck.
gonna look right now.
The winner of the season is the best player of the season.
Shut the fuck up.
No, Jake's gonna get it. Jake's gonna get higher than me, I think.
If
I
you beat
might
him,
be
that
just
means
a
your
pivot.
game was better.
Oh, Look at
Josh,
that.
this is the one time where I'm going to argue that. I'm just going to say that because Jake, I was happy that Jake made it through that night. Because if we remember, Jake was fucked up because of personal shit. So I'm just thankful that he made it through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for
no,
one,
I'm
for
not
once, I'm
surprised.
not necessarily going to say that.
I'm not surprised. I think that's well deserved. I think Jake is not only a great person, but a great player at the same time. So
Oh, and that's not what I'm trying to argue. I'm just trying to argue
Okay,
about
are we done here?
yes.